All right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming at you from Austin, Texas. We're live at 7:05. It is April 17th, Wednesday. It's Hump Day. You made it another week. And if you fell off your horse, jump back on that thing and ride like no one saw you fall off. Make sure you do learn from your mistakes, though. Don't just jump on and do the same mistake over and over. We don't want Groundhog Day around here. Got a couple great guests. We got a great topic tonight. The topic tonight is going to be doing carnivore in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. The differences between those ages and what you might see and the benefits you might get and the challenges you might have. And this is going to be an open forum with the guests and you guys. So if you guys have things to input, please add to this conversation. Bringing in our regulars here, turning into our regulars, John, the carnivore teacher. Hey, John, how's it going?
Good, good.
And DC, how's it going from down under, brother?
Very good. Yeah, nice sunny day.
Yeah. Is it nice sunny day? It's been overcast here and the sun's kind of going down. So yeah. Why don't you guys do a quick introduction of yourselves and we'll jump into this.
All right. I'm John Lespina. I'm the carnivore teacher, 1965 on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, a couple other places. I've been carnivore for over a year, ketovore for 4 years. So total of 5 years. And I constantly tweak and adjust. And I am a few years away from 60. So we're talking about ages and the carnivore diet. And I'd be curious to hear everybody's opinion tonight about how I would do this diet any differently in the next 10 years or 20 years from now. I think we need more protein as we age. So we can talk about that.
All right, DC, you're in your young 50s, right? You're 50, 51, something like that?
51 now. Yeah.
All right.
Last month turned 51. Being keto, a fatty keto for the last 9.5 years. 9.5 years in full remission now after stage 4 twice in blood cancer. It's like John says, it's constantly tweaking my diet, constantly learning more, studying more, and recovering, from treatments and the disease itself. So it's an ongoing process, as I always say, we're all sort of a work in progress, as is life, and we're still learning to live. And that's why I'm DC learning to live.
All right. Thanks a lot, DC. And I'm Larry. I'm the carnivore soldier, retired Army Chief Warrant Officer. And I'm 57, be 58 May 4th. So a few more days till I'm 58. So I'm right up there with these guys. So we're all in our 50s. Bunch of guys in our 50s thriving on the carnivore diet. And here's my dog, and he's 9, and he's thriving on the carnivore diet too. Although you can only see his nose here, his nose tip. But Duke's here along with me. Good boy, Duke. This is going to be what I did was we were talking about this earlier. I went to Google Bard, which is now Gemini, which is their AI engine, similar to Chat GPT. And I put in, list the benefits of a carnivore diet by age group and asked what AI thinks the benefits are. And of course, AI started to come back with all kinds of negatives thrown there too. So I had to say, leave the negatives out and just give me the positives. I know the negatives. And so it did that. So I'm going to go ahead and share some of this. And if you guys are in your 30s or 40s or 20s and you see some of the benefits by age group that you don't agree with or you think are missing, please chime in. And you can just put QQQ in and talk about what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this on now. Here we go. Carnivore diet potential benefits by age group. All right, so we have increased benefits for all age groups. We have increased satiety. Carnivore diet is high in protein, which keeps you feeling fuller for longer, potentially reducing calorie intake and aiding in weight management. I don't think it's higher in protein than a standard diet. I think it's the fat that's satiating, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're completely wrong about that.
Yeah, because you can eat a high protein standard American diet, totally easy to do, right? And it's not satiating at all. It's really it's the
fat that satiates you, not the protein.
Yeah, I agree. So I think this is a good point, but I think it's just not quite super accurate. Improved energy levels. Some people experience increased energy on the carnivore diet, possibly due to the efficient use of fat for fuel. Now that's accurate. You got that one right.
That's
Mhm.
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Reduced inflammation. So AI's got a handle on this a little bit, it looks like. Early research suggests that carnivore diet may be helpful in reducing inflammation, although more studies are needed.
They have to say maybe to cover their butt,
Yeah.
and they have to say more studies are needed because, well, actually, the diet that is studied the most is the ketogenic way of eating.
Right.
There are
Yeah, that's
more
right.
studies
I mean,
on
the
keto
last
than any other.
150 years.
Yeah, and carnivore
Yeah.
is a subset of that.
Yeah.
It is a ketogenic diet.
It's a lower carb version of it. Like keto is like the child version.
Carb count, right?
You know, carnivore
Yeah,
is
we're
like
just
the
not
adult version.
we're not managing the addiction, we're just getting rid of it, right? That's what I
Yeah.
like to say. So yeah, that's I think overall I give that like a B minus though. That's pretty good. That's not too far off, right? If you knew what you're looking at. Now, if you didn't know anything and you typed this in and saw this, it doesn't matter if you think protein or, well, yeah, you should eat more fats though, and that's that, but still you would
The
experience
problem is that first part is setting people up to fail.
if they're going for high protein diet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people think carnivore is. And if you are one of the
Yeah.
people watching this show or seeing this video, it's not.
Right.
It's a high fat diet, normal protein. I mean, the protein should be about the same as a
Moderate, right?
Yeah, as a keto or a even standard diet, as long as you should be anyway. So yeah, now it goes into age specific, right? And it says 20s to 30s, athletic performance. Some athletes in their 20s and 30s report improved performance on carnivore diet, but more research is needed.
They have to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say anecdotally, even in your 50s, because
heck yeah,
I'm getting great performance. What about you guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can do things now I couldn't do before, and I'm like we said last week, we're aging in reverse.
Yeah,
I am doing things now that I couldn't do 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, but I was able to do in my 20s physically.
Yeah, my back injuries healed up completely. I did deadlift today and did heavy deadlifts and felt fantastic.
Amazing.
It just felt like, I don't know. It's so amazing that you are aging backwards because your body's just able to perform like it used to. DC, you're doing training still, right? Or no? You have any clients?
Yeah.
Are you doing any carnivore clients? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean training other people. No, I'm not training other people at the moment.
Okay.
I just train myself. I do give advice to people just who request it. And I do train. I still have friends or people in Japan that I still consult, but that's about it.
Okay. So lean body composition, the high protein content can support muscle growth and repair, potentially aiding fitness goals.
They need to understand they have a misinformation about the concept of protein on this way of eating, right? It's not necessarily high. It should be moderate. Right. If you get way too high and you have too much protein that you're supposed to have, it's going to convert to glucose.
Yep.
And so
gluconeogenesis, right?
Yeah, they're not mentioning the fat. You notice they're just mentioning protein repeatedly.
Well, they did say it up here though, fat for fuel, right?
Well, yeah.
They did actually bring it up, but they dropped it. Well, AI is not consistent either, so I mean, this is just
True.
It's just finding these snippets on Google and putting them together in a paper for you. I think is what it's doing.
Yeah.
Interesting though. So yeah, I would say yes, true. It does have good amount of protein that supports muscle growth and repair, but also the fat is more important, I think. What about you, DC? I'm sure you got something to say about that.
Yeah, again, they're just they have no idea what they're
I mean, what AI is talking about.
Yeah, I mean, what it's doing is again setting people up to fail because they are. If someone read this and thought, okay, this is how I'm going to do it, they're immediately going to go straight for protein every time,
right?
And they'll still stick to that low fat sort of diet. Because that's the narrative, the narrative is, fat causes heart disease and all sorts of other garbage. So what they're doing is setting themselves up for rabbit starvation.
Yeah, which is not good. It's too much protein. Hey, Aid Larson says, greetings from the Ponderosa. Is that literal? Because I think the Ponderosa was up by Lake Tahoe, right? I grew up watching that show.
On the
So
road. Yeah, it's still on. The reruns.
yeah, a fantastic show. One thing we talk about how things changed, right? I just, this is an observation, nothing to do with carnivore, but well, actually it does, because society's changed and media's changed. Back then, when we were growing up, the Ponderosa showed the richest, wealthiest family, and they were always trying to help people. They were not evil. They didn't get it by backstabbing someone and stepping over the bodies and cheating people. They were honorable people who tried to really see good in others and try to help them in their problem. You don't see that.
A lot of people are like that,
Yeah, but TV now, anytime then you have, contrast that to the 80s when we had Dallas, right? Which shows that people are just like horrible. Yeah, horrible people have money, horrible people. Yeah, Bonanza was the good show, right? Abe. There you go. That was the show I grew up watching. And that the Cartwright family they were the pinnacle. They were the people that you wanted to be like. Interesting.
Yeah. They always want to separate us, even rich against poor and everything.
That's what
else.
it is.
People with money are evil and whatnot. Some people are.
The AI we're using for this is Google Gemini, which used to be Google Bard. And AI, we were talking about this earlier. It's not at all perfect. It is a good tool to use for like coding or getting ideas or doing a framework to start. Like I've had it help me write procedures, get me a framework, and then I fill it out with all the steps I wanted and the details I wanted. AI's, like I was saying earlier, it'd probably be good for writing like a will or something. You could, I think maybe certain jobs, and I have it writing blog entries for my website. So, I mean, certain jobs it's good at, but it's not going to give you good health information. I don't think. If you look at this is not, I would not just say, AI, tell me what to do with the carnivore diet, because it's not going to tell you the right thing. Obviously, we're seeing that here.
Yeah, but I don't think you should use AI for anything other than like an instructional sort of like diagram sort of thing setup. It's kind of, you might get some ideas from it, like what I'm saying is like he uses it for titles and things like that.
Right.
But apart from, if you I don't think you should do any sort of research on it, because it's not going to give you an unbiased opinion, like a view of history for a start. And it can't write the way people can. It's certainly not going to write true stories or factual sort of stories either. So,
right. No, I agree. AI is limited right now.
It's dipping into everything that's out there, and because of the First Amendment, anybody is allowed to say anything on there. So you have everybody's point of view, everybody's political and religious and everything point of view. So you ask it however specific your question is or your request. It's dipping into everything, the Pandora's box.
Yes.
And so you're getting correct information, you're getting incorrect information, you're getting bias. And we need to just understand that, take it with a grain of salt.
Carnivore Athlete says Gemini will do everything it can to talk you out of carnivore diet. We'll go over that in the end. It's so biased. Really? I had to manually tell it to strip the bias away, and it still left some. But yes, he's absolutely right. I had to say, leave off all the negatives. Don't give me any. I had to keep like modifying my search till it gave me what I wanted. And then I just copy and pasted what I wanted and left the stuff I didn't want. So, all right, 20s and 30s, athletic performance, lean body composition. We got that. The next one, 30s and 40s, blood sugar management. Individuals with type 2 diabetes under doctor supervision may experience improved blood sugar control. Wow. I can't believe that Gemini actually said that. It's true.
They had to put the word may.
May.
They will. They absolutely positively will, but they can't say that because, if there's like 1/10 of 1,000% of a person who doesn't, then they're wrong and they don't want to be held liable or whatever.
Well, and also
just going back to that protein, another problem with the fact that it's saying it's telling you that it's a high protein diet is that people will look for different sources of proteins, and they'll, instead of cooking a steak, for example, they will take really crappy sort of protein sources like protein shakes and protein powders
bars,
and stuff like that.
Protein bars, all that garbage. So individuals. Here's the deal: you don't have to have type 2 diabetes. I mean, I think metabolic syndrome or
insulin resistance.
Insulin resistance,
any form of it.
which is very prevalent. Most people I think something like 50 or 60% of people are pre-diabetic. At least they have some kind of metabolic syndrome going on in America, and it's probably because the seed oils and the carbohydrates
and the carbs
combined.
Yeah.
You know, I think I read that seed oils, when they use to fry foods, they like instantaneously make insulin resistance in your body when you eat fried foods that are fried with seed oils.
Well, most fried foods are breaded.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And it's just that stuff is like
it's like the
so
worst
toxic.
poison. It's toxic.
It
it's
is.
just straight up toxic. So yeah, but this is great, and I think this is at any age, not just 30s to 40s. And now we're seeing more people in their 20s and 30s with type 2 diabetes.
Oh yeah,
we're seeing
and children
kids,
now. Yeah, little kids.
Children under 18 with type 2 diabetes.
I was watching this little kid, lives across the street from me. He was they were having a party over the weekend, and he was walking. He must have been 8 years old with a Sprite can with this big belly. Little kid, a big belly.
And I see that.
And drinking all that sugar, just drinking the sugar.
The obesity in children now is staggering.
Frightening.
Even under 10 years old, the obesity level is incredible.
So sad.
And like it starts from the baby formula, like even in the womb, like the mother's drinking and eating a lot of crap. The baby comes out addicted to sugars. Baby formulas are full of seed oils and sweeteners and sugars and all sorts of other problems. It's so many children just not making it to adulthood anymore. It's disgusting.
I could see Rick out there running.
Yeah, he's out
running all the little kids in the dust.
He's so mean. All right. Seed oils are already oxidated when they're made. That's true. When they're heated, they get even worse. Yep. These seed oils create oxidative stress and mitochondria lose inflammation and chronic disease. 100%. Aid. That's perfectly stated.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for the processed forms of proteins as well. Like I was talking about with protein powders before, that they're heavily oxidated, or they're heavily processed and cooked a lot, and they're full of all sorts of flavorings, colorings, seed oils, and sweeteners and other things that and a lot of it, even like whey comes from milk, but it's heavily processed, like I said. And there are many other different types of protein powders that are also plant-based. And the things that this is the thing that kicks me about supplements, even vitamin supplements and things like that. These are all manufactured vitamins that they add to these things. They add them to all your stuff like cereals and stuff like that. When they say, it's high in B12 or high in niacin and all this sort of stuff, they have ridiculous dosages of each. It's all manufactured and heavily processed. So you get absolutely nothing from these things at all. You just can't absorb it.
I'm in the middle of reading Sally Norton's oxalate book. And I got to the part, where some of the oxalates come in our own body that we make come from extra vitamin C, just a little bit. And if you have whey, it's the collagen. If you're taking collagen supplements, which they put a lot of that in the protein powder, that converts into oxalate, and all this processed stuff.
Yes.
If it wasn't out there naturally, why are we consuming it from a factory?
That's
Toxic superfoods. Sally K. Norton. Is that what you're reading?
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Aid's on the ball. He knows that one. So stable energy levels. Some people experience sustained energy levels throughout the day on a carnivore diet. I would put a caveat on that. That's true, but I'd say you really, to get that stable throughout the day, I think the best energy levels I got throughout the day is when I quit caffeine, then everything evened out. Otherwise, you still get spikes, I think, in my body.
And again, that's due to the fat content, like a high fat diet, not the protein.
Even if you do caffeine, though, you still have way more stable than it was when you're eating standard American diet. Where I remember after eating lunch, you just want to fall asleep at your desk.
Well, it's that insulin roller coaster that you're not having when you don't have the sugar.
I mean, I can remember driving long distances and always having to stop to get snacks to keep me awake. So otherwise I'd be falling asleep driving. So I'm like, all right, I got to pull over and get something to eat. Right. And I would pull over and get a bar or a drink or something to snack while I'm driving to keep me awake. So it's terrible energy levels. I can't imagine truck drivers I'm sure, any truckers out there, if they're a carnivore, it's probably way easier to be a truck driver as a carnivore, I imagine.
I think they
Got to be.
caffeinate a lot is what they do.
Yeah. Okay, so that was that. Let's see.
Where are we? 50s?
Then we got weight management potential. The carnivore diet may support weight management due to its restrictive nature and protein satiating effects. Again, it's focusing on the wrong thing.
They're not saying fat at all.
Yeah, it's fat. It's fat, people. Don't believe this one. AI is lying to you.
You need
what was
protein.
The AI in Terminator? It was what was?
Oh,
Terminator?
you're right. What was?
It was. Anyone chime in on this? I forget what AI. There was AI in Terminator. Anyway, that
crap. What was that called? It was the name of the company.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, I'll think of it.
Every time they talk about AI, I think about the Terminator movies. I'm like, is this where we're going? Is this thing going to become self-aware?
Singularity, self-aware. Yeah. And they're
Skynet. Thank you, Bruce.
Skynet. That's it. Yeah. Thanks, Bruce. Bruce is on point there. I haven't watched it in so long. Skynet. Very good.
That's what's great about having all these guests. Everybody has you find the answer. You guys are better than AI.
Yeah. Listen to this. You need to ask the AI program about who the long-term carnivores are. It'd be interesting to ask. What tribes are currently carnivore or something, or eat a meat-based diet, not a plant-based diet.
I'm going to do that now.
Yes, Bruce is a geek. We are too. I'm just haven't watched it in a long time. But Skynet, yes, that's great. Okay, then 40s to 50s, focus and clarity. Now I think this, in the 30s and 40s is good too. I think in the 20s and 30s you don't really have a problem with focus and clarity. I didn't, and I was eating a crappy diet. So I mean, maybe it'll still improve. But I think the great benefit would be probably 30s to 50s, depending on the person and above. I think you can just add these all up and keep rolling them in. So if you're in your 50s and 60s, you get all those plus, right? I think that's the way it works. I would say if you're in your 60s, you get all this, right?
Yeah, I think that honestly, like these will all of these benefits will apply to all ages. That you're always going to improve. All of these benefits here will improve, but the difference between ages is the amount of benefit, the amount of change that you feel and see in a shorter period of time. That will change in a different age group. So I think if like in your 20s, you'll get all the same benefits, but it will happen faster and easier.
Yes.
And as you get older, it's just a little bit slower. But that I don't think it's not just due to age. I think it's also due to the fact that you've been poisoning yourself for a lot longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, also, if I wish this went back further, if you're a carnivore baby and you're a carnivore toddler and a carnivore before 10 and 15 years old, what are the benefits to you when you're 40, 50, and 60? Because your whole entire life you weren't poisoning yourself. You're so much stronger. I think that's something we could ask AI as well. I don't think they have an answer for it.
So the focus and clarity says some people of all ages, but especially those in their 40s and beyond, report improved mental clarity and focus on carnivore diet. I think the reason it says 40s and beyond, because most people that do carnivore in their 40s and beyond, because we become desperate enough to make a major change in our diet. And I think people in their 20s and 30s typically don't, unless you're Michaela Peterson or someone who has some really, really terrible stuff going on in your life, health-wise. I don't think most 20 and 30-year-olds are ready to.
It's like you say, Larry, you have to find your why, and a lot of people don't have a why in their 20s. They're not a lot of people, but like DC says, there's fewer and fewer of them nowadays. But, when I was in my 20s and people back in my day, we were healthier. And then we, until we got hit on the head with some kind of physical or problem, and then we had a reason. Like, oh, I got a kidney stone, I got to do this, or I got cancer, I have to do this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more younger people starting because, like you said, these ailments, like these conditions and obesity, diseases, and all that sort of, it's all starting very younger now. So
absolutely,
you're going to see that a lot of people will hit that sort of point of change very early in life now too.
Nia hit it when she was 31. That's when she started her dietary search. I don't think she went straight carnivore then, but she began changing what she was eating, right? She's 37 now. So, but yeah, so I agree. And I think because we're seeing more and more younger people, we need to be prepared to come alongside young people when they come to us with their health issues and say, man, what's going on? And we need to be able to reach out and, sympathetically and share knowledge and just say, hey, we're not doctors, but check this out. It might help. That's kind of what we need to be ready for, because I think we're going to get a wave of these Gen Z people and stuff who are just sick very young.
Yeah.
Especially like how much people eat out now, because we never ate out like this.
No, we didn't eat out a lot years ago.
No,
and now everybody eats out all the time, and the fresh
all the
drinks
time
are horrible. All seed oil, all carbs and sugar.
Yeah.
You have to be very specific and demanding if you're going to go out and eat. And then the amount of money you spend to get this little piece of meat is ridiculous.
Oh, truly ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, 50s and 60s, potential gut health benefits. Some proponents believe the carnivore diet may improve gut health. Although more research is, it's very ambiguous. Very.
I think an attorney, AI is an attorney. They know just the right.
That's why I said they're good for writing legal documents.
You can't hold any of this liable.
I can tell you right now, gut benefits all these were huge for me. I think focus and clarity is one of the first things that happened to me, though. And I would add to that mental health, just the attitude change and the positivity and the motivation levels. That all came up really quick. So, and gut health, that didn't happen immediately for me, because actually I had the opposite. I had, of course, the runs for weeks. And then the gut health came once it cleaned out all the garbage that was in there.
Yeah, but see that like, again, like you've had 50 plus years of the wrong food. So for some people, it's just going to take a while for that to sort of heal. But if you look at Rick's story, he did it in his teenage years. And he felt, he had the same mental clarity change, and it certainly helped him with his he went from below average to above average student while in school. So, like I said, I think the same benefits happen for all age groups. Just in, it might happen sooner and faster and easier for the younger people because they haven't had so long on the poison diet.
Yeah. And then 60s and 70s, it says simplified meal planning. Now, this is something I appreciate, and I'm sure any busy mom would appreciate this, or even single people for sure. The carnivore diet can streamline grocery shopping and meal prep, potentially making it easier to stick to a healthy plan.
And that's 100%. True about all decades, though. It's not just 60s.
Exactly.
70s, but I guess for elderly people, God, we're saying elderly. He's not elderly.
We're not there yet, John. We got a couple years.
And it's not elderly because
I know. But I would say that I would add this, and this does make more sense, would be cost savings, because people in their 60s and 70s, many of them are on fixed incomes, right? And are looking at, especially if you're carnivore and you're going to live longer, now you're looking at a longer run on your retirement if you're going to, so you really need to be a better steward.
Saving money on that, saving money on medicine, prescriptions, and doctor visits, and there's so much
everything pretty much.
Yeah.
For me, I'm looking back, I know I'm saving at least 50%, probably more on my, if you consider I don't go out and eat anymore.
Right.
I don't stop at gas stations to buy protein bars and drinks when I'm driving. I just drink water. When I go to the movies, I don't drink a Coke with popcorn. All those things just add up.
It adds up.
Yeah, it all adds up. And then, of course, the groceries are such high quality foods that, yes, they cost more individually, but like tonight I ate a pound of beef. It was, I don't know, $4. And I grilled it up, put some butter in it, put some salt on it, and ate it. And it totally satiated me. It was fantastic. That's a $4 meal. I would go to Wendy's and spend $13, no problem. Back in the day.
Fast food has gone up too.
Oh, it has. Yeah.
Used to be cheap when I was a kid.
Yeah, it used to be like 10. Right now it's 13.
Less than that. It was $4 or $5 when I went to McDonald's in high school.
Oh, in high school. I'm talking about like last year.
Oh, all right. I didn't eat it.
So last year I was still going out. I was still driving around and hitting.
All right. Yeah. Wow.
Before I became a carnivore, right?
Dang.
So it was expensive then, but still, I mean, you look at all that, plus all the ingredients and food stuff that I bought, and then the stuff I threw away daily. I mean,
Because it
or
went bad.
weekly.
Yeah.
Oh, it went bad. Yeah, doesn't happen no more. So yeah, I would say for 60s and 70s, this is huge, but actually it's huge for everyone, right? Because now the economy, the way it is, people need to save money. They do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And going to the grocery store, it's a mindset difference, because at first you think you're spending a lot of money, but you're not, because you don't eat as much. That's my experience. Anyway, about in Australia, same thing, DC?
Yeah, very much so.
So you still can eat for less than you did when you were on standard diet, you think, or someone could?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't go for the expensive. I mean, meat is kind of expensive here, and more so than America, but it's still like, I'm not taking any supplements. I don't take any medications. I don't eat out. I don't do any of that sort of stuff. So in total, you're still saving money, even though like the food that you buy is kind of more expensive per kilo per se, rather than like going to like a restaurant or buying just carbs and whatnot. But overall, you're saving a lot more money.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, and then it says additional considerations, and let me see if I can. There we go. Explore new culinary experience. This is from AI. It's kind of cool. The carnivore diet offers a unique way to explore different cuts of meat, cooking techniques, and flavor profiles. I totally agree with that. I think it's great.
Yeah,
that's really, I hear a picanha, I hear ribeyes, ground beef. I love Wagyu burgers and Wagyu stew. I make stew. I make pot roast out of it. There's so many ways to eat different meats, and lamb. I mean, yeah, I agree with that 100%. There's a lot of variety.
Yeah, I gotta say, I just want to on this comment here, like whether McDiarrhea uses real beef or not is not a big issue for me, because the fact is, I mean, you don't know how these things are very much processed as well, so you're not going to get a lot of nutrients out of these things anyway. They're not very high in fat either. So
right.
But apart from that, even if they were perfectly healthy, would you still want to support a big food chain like McDonald's that is actively working against you, the people? Why would you spend your money there?
I agree.
Yeah, because they're making fries, and they're going to take that profit, and they're going to make McDonald's commercials to encourage children and parents to go eat McDonald's at high school.
And they are just as guilty as paying for fake studies and things like as Coca-Cola and the rest of these companies.
Now, if you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere and you're traveling for work and that's what you got to eat, then that's one thing, right? But if you have options,
go hunting,
don't do it, right? I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah,
what about you, John?
Prepare yourself.
Well,
I think
you hear the stories of people that say, "Oh, I go through the drive-through and I order the a la carte and I just get the meat and I get 4 beef patties." Yeah, she does it. Ken Berry did a whole video on it, and like DC said, I don't have a desire to ever do that. I don't need to go through drive-through. I can go somewhere else and buy something else that's better. I don't want to support the company McDonald's. Just like DC said, why should I support?
I agree with that.
I'd rather fast. Or, I haven't eaten. I'm hungry. I have to go to McDonald's. I'd rather just wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
but
either use
I would say that it's not
as an opportunity to fast, or prepare yourself better and take a meal with you.
Yeah, prepare better.
Yeah. Now, if you're in another country traveling, like I'm going to England, I don't know what they're going to have to eat there. I'll try to find good foods.
Oh, they'll have meat.
But we may hit a fast food place, my son and I, when we're there, because we just don't know. I mean, it just depends on what the schedule is and everything. That's different, though. That's not daily routine. I don't think it should be a routine.
But
the other thing is too. Go ahead.
Sorry, same thing. But this is a war. This really is a war. These corporations against the people. And the best way, the only way we can survive, or the only way we can win, is to vote with our dollar. Don't keep giving the people that are actively working against you
money.
Stop giving them your money. Send them broke. Send them out of business.
Good point.
So the other additional consideration, which I totally agree with too, is focus on high quality sources. This is not totally required, but for sure, if you're eating grass-fed pasture meats from a local farm or something, it's going to be
a little better.
Yeah, it's going to be the optimum. Plus you are supporting a local business, which I like. Small farms instead of these big industrial organizations or companies that are selling to McDonald's and other places. But yeah, it'll be a little better. You can totally do it off. I don't really buy much grass-fed pasture meats. I think most meats are grass-fed up to a point, and then they're switched over to corn.
They all are. They all are grass-fed, but they are finished in grain, a lot of them. And they honestly, I think they taste better grain finished.
I do too. Wagyu burgers, all grain pretty much at the end when they load those guys up. So Charger Mopar Rick says it's really amazing this diet has yet to go mainstream. Well, for one thing, they're trying to figure out how to monetize. I guarantee there's some groups of people trying to figure out how to monetize this thing, and it's really hard to. That's what's great about this. Like, none of us are making money off this. Right. We're not here to make. We're not selling anything, right? I mean, it's really interesting to see. That's one of the reasons. So we're going against all these companies that are making money, right? So that's the thing. I mean, the reason it's not going mainstream is because the media is paid by pharmaceutical and food companies that have no interest in this becoming a narrative. No interest. Which is why even AI kind of gives us the caveats. In fact,
guarantee you, if more and more people are doing what we're doing and making YouTube channels, and more people are getting healthy and becoming carnivore or ketovore, we may see some tactical canceling of YouTube channels and people getting knocked off of things because it threatens their money, their bottom line, their business.
And I think they're doing it through the WHO because they can point to the WHO and say, "Oh, look, the WHO says that," even though the WHO is funded by these guys too, right? Mm-hmm. They're all the but we can point to a third party and say, "Oh, look, this is a governing board for the world, and they're the experts, right?" And we all know anyone that's taken science in middle school knows
the non-doctors sort of experts.
Yeah, but anyone knows that if you've taken any science in middle school, you learn the scientific method. And the scientific method, there's no step that says trust experts. That's not one of the steps, right? You come up with a theory, right? And you test it, or a hypothesis, and you test it. And then someone else has a hypothesis or a theory, you test it against theirs. And you find out what and that's what you do. And there's no
trust the experts. Like the last few years, people are waking up to the fact that, the whole statement, trust the science, is anti-science as you get.
It is totally anti-science. In fact, if we had trusted the science, we'd still think that Copernicus was wrong, right? And we think the Earth is the center of the universe.
Oh, and all those theories, the Earth, the gravity, everything. And these guys were put to death for believing it. The church put them to death. They were the authority back then.
That was the authority they trusted. And that was political, right? So, some people have done horrible things in the name of science, I guess, in the past. So here's some additional considerations that Gemini threw out. I didn't print them, but I just want to, it says, remember, a doctor's guidance is essential before starting this diet, especially for those with underlying health conditions. I do not disagree with that.
They have to say that. Yeah.
Yep. And then they said this: it's important to listen to your body and adjust the diet as needed. I think that's fantastic advice, and I can't believe AI actually came up with that.
My problem with the doctor thing, though, is you have to trust your doctor. You have to trust your doctor, what your doctor said. But what are the doctors going to tell them? They're going to say, "Don't do it." They're going to say fat is bad.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I did confer with my doctor and consulted, and I told my doctor what I was doing. I didn't ask permission. My doctor didn't necessarily agree. It doesn't matter. I consulted. Right. And I did what I wanted to do, and I listened to my body. So I think that's really important. So does anyone have any of these things you want to add to our list that are missing. I would say the mental health thing wasn't brought up at all, and I know for me, the lack of
Well, it
depression,
probably
anxiety.
won't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it probably won't bring up those sorts of things. And I mean, again, like the whole, like it doesn't mention fat as you know, and it sort of targets protein. So it's a real problem. I mean, it really just sort of follows the narrative, you know.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people get in. One of the first mistakes they make is they try to eat lean, thinking that even if my body does get fatted up, it's going to burn my fat if I don't eat fat.
That's
Right?
right.
That's what they think, which is wrong.
Well, they think that, and then a lot of people who start this think that fat is only for energy.
Yeah.
It's only to make ketones, and there's so much nutrition that we're getting from our omega-3 and
Vitamins.
omega-6, our fatty acids,
Oh,
our fat-soluble vitamins and minerals, and
Yes.
just it's about knowledge. It's about learning the facts, and there's just too much misinformation out there.
I think the number one key you can take away from AI is do your own research. Don't let AI do it for you. And I don't think you should let AI do it for anything.
Well, so one of the problems too with doing your own research, though, is, and this is why you're gonna have to find a lot of different sources. You can't just trust Google, because Google's trained by the same as this AI. So you're gonna get Google
they're only going to
results
show you the results, like your search results that they want you to
Just
see.
like the news, if you want to learn what's really going on in the world, you don't watch one biased television channel. You have to get your news source from different outlets. And
watch some German news, watch some South Korean
BBC
news.
is kind of neutral.
Watch
Yeah,
some different, English news. Just, I mean, they all have parts of the truth, and they're part of their lie, right? And that's just the way it is, because they're paid to say what they say. So for sure. And so this is why I think you do need to familiarize yourself with the doctors if you haven't yet, because some of them will turn you on to books and turn you on to studies and things that are really important. And John's got a great channel where he talks about a lot of these things. And you do refer to a lot of books and studies, which is great. So these are the things you need to really do. That's part of the education, because you can't just trust the media. I think I've heard, and I agree, when you watch the news, it's like one commercial after another of either food or drugs.
God, the medicine commercials and the side effects.
Side effects. Yeah, it's crazy.
It didn't used to have those. It was oven cleaner years ago. It was coffee. It was window cleaner. Now you don't see any of those commercials anymore. Now it's Ozempic and this one and that one. All these. I have a joke in our house. I'm like, oh, there's a new one. I should work for the company that creates the names for these medicines. They're so creative, these names.
Oh, I know. Exempa or whatever. They throw like, let's throw an A in there. They probably have AI doing it now.
The Synthepic, all these, they just make it up. And
we can just have, we have like AI can just do it for us. So those guys that made those, that was their job, making those names. They're out of business, because AI is just going to do it.
AI is probably doing it, right? And then they steal a song that we all know and love from our youth, and they hijack it and get permission, and they put different lyrics, and now you keep hearing it over and over and over again. They're actually brilliant.
And they show super happy people dancing around.
It's subliminal.
Living the best life that you could not live without chemicals.
There's one on TV. I just laugh my ass off. It's for type 2 diabetes, and there's these fat women, and they're dancing around in the streets, literally dancing to music, and it's all about the drug.
Yeah,
it's so. I said my middle school kids could make a better commercial than that.
I saw one with like a
well,
bunch
look
of
at it. I mean, look at it. Exactly the same. They used exactly the same structure for the last few years. We're in this so-called scamdemic, where hospital staff were out doing musical numbers. They were so busy they had time to do a musical number.
I've seen that. Yeah,
the same thing.
Everybody's so depressed. We're trying to pep everybody up, but
all right, so Aid Larson is an Australian, I believe, and he said, I don't support McDonald's either. Sometimes all I can get when visiting the city. I know meat patties are healthy. And then someone else piped in and said, I tend to go to the supermarket when necessary and buy deli slices of meat. Those aren't great either, but
it's better than.
It's better. It may be better. At least you're not supporting that business. So if you're
bad than cereal.
Some like deli slices you can get, like silver side or corned beef, that sort of stuff's not so bad.
Or move to Texas and just eat barbecue whenever you want, because they don't barbecue stores. They're working in our interest. They're supporting local cattle
That's a good
ranchers.
point too, Larry. There are barbecue restaurants that you can go to as well.
There you go. Yeah, and
They're
you
just
got
a
to make
bit
sure watch
expensive.
the sauces
Watch
because
the
a lot
seed
of them
oils too.
and the seed
just in
oils.
case. Yep.
You
Gotta
know,
ask.
in Texas, it's smoked meat with salt and pepper a lot of times. So
Mm.
you can get it without the pepper if you want. Just get the middle. You know, cut the bark. They call it bark. Cut the
Yep.
bark off. Although I like the bark, I'm eating the bark. But anyway, so smoked meat, man, nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm on a cattle station, and we have endless beef and lamb. I make my own mince, 10%
Nice.
part. That sounds good.
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that sounds real good. A cattle station. So is that like a ranch in Australia?
Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
So
We call them
lambs is on it.
stations.
Lambs raising cattle and lamb. That's pretty awesome, man.
Cool.
So let's see. Keep pork rinds in the car. Pork rinds are not bad. I mean, I eat them every now and then. They're good. Well, like when I have guests over or playing games, I have pork rinds because that's a good snack we can all just snack on. And for game night with my brother comes over with my nephew and my son's here, we'll eat pork rinds because you know what? It's better than chips.
Yep.
Because it's got no seed oils, right? So Nia's
Just make sure it's not fried in seed oil. There are some that if
right.
they might. I've picked up many in some stores. They have different varieties of pork rinds, and you pick them up, and there's a paragraph of ingredients for some of the brands.
Yeah,
so
it's ridiculous. Well, make sure you don't get any flavored pork rinds either. They need to be like naked pork rinds because they all have seed oils and stuff in them.
Yeah, and MSG.
MSG, yeah, everything to make them addictive.
Yeah. And they don't always tell you how they're cooked either. So
right, it has to say fried out, cooked, and they're fried out.
Yep.
Pork. How is it worded? Fried out in their own pork grease or whatever.
Yeah. UN, we own the science. Yeah, that's we've heard that before, right? And it's interesting because, I mean, for me, this diet dovetailed into that whole pandemic issue that we ran into. And it really opened my eyes completely to, you know, the Matrix. I could say I definitely got red pilled, right? For sure. Let's see. Propane grill is your friend. I love my propane grill. I use mine a lot. I have it out in the patio, and I have a little electric smoker and a propane grill, and I love to grill burgers on there. They always taste the best when they're grilled.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Dr. Kiltz is here. Hey, what's up, Doc?
Hey, Dr. Kiltz.
Man, good to see you, brother.
How
This
cool.
guy, hey, if you guys haven't checked out Dr. Kiltz's channel,
Yes.
Early mornings, man. He's the guy to jump in and start your day. I guarantee you 100%. If you're in America, in Australia, it's late night, I guess, right?
I like your food pyramid, Dr. Kiltz.
Yeah. Dr. Kiltz is
We've
the
all
man.
used yours to explain to people.
Yeah, Dr. Kiltz is the man. Thanks for stopping by, Doc. And hey, we look forward to seeing you at KetoCon.
Oh, he'll be there. Good.
Yeah, he will be there. And I'm meeting you. I'm gonna bring my son to meet you, and John will be there. DC is in Australia. He's not gonna be there, but we will. We will see you there, Doc, for sure. Come and get you some good barbecue in Texas. I'll be taking some people around and showing some good stuff. That's cool, man. My doctor actually recommended the Atkins diet, but it was an effort to lower my weight to address cholesterol concerns, loss of weight, and discovered I'm a lean mass hyperresponder. So yeah, the cholesterol is not going to do what you want or what the doctor wants. But you know what? We don't have to worry about that if you're a true LMHR, though, right? Because then you have
the fact that he knows that he's what an LMHR is.
No one should, whether you're a lean mass hyperresponder or not, no one should worry or be concerned about their cholesterol levels being high. If your cholesterol level go low, then you should be concerned.
Yeah, and it's not medical advice. We're not doctors. Dr. Kiltz is a doctor. We're not. But this is just a general understanding that, you know, low cholesterol is bad for you. You can go look up the studies in NIH has National Institute of Health has a bunch of studies on it. Low cholesterol is related to a lot of different bad things that can happen to you because our body runs on cholesterol. I mean, our cells do, our brain does. There's so much that runs on cholesterol.
Hormones.
Asher just posted a great video on I was speaking to Dr. Sarah Pugh about cholesterol as well. If you go check that video out, it's very informative. She's absolutely brilliant when it comes to talking about how vital cholesterol is for every process of the body. Okay, it is absolutely essential. Lowering your cholesterol is the last thing you would want to do.
Shouldn't be a goal, right? Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So Doc says fat adipose tissue is a storage site for minerals, vitamins, and the building blocks of the body,
Right.
and critical for survival. True. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
100% true.
Yeah, being too lean for too long is not healthy.
No. Yeah, these guys that get ripped and stay ripped, it's not good for them.
No.
I mean, if you want to get ripped before you go to the beach or something, that's great, but don't try to do it all year long. For one thing, you're wearing a shirt all year anyway. No one's going to see your abs.
Yeah, especially like through winter, your body's supposed to actually put on a little bit because you're supposed to be going through a fasting period in your cooler months and things like that. So you usually store a bit before you go into winter. But it's part of the circadian rhythm, timing, and all that sort of stuff as well. You need those vitamins and nutrients that you may need for fasting periods.
So Dave Saunier says my two very overweight friends are on Ozempic. That is a terrible idea. And many other meds. They're not just on Ozempic. They're watching all the ads and they're buying. And they're asking their doctor, as told by the ads. Go ask your doctor. Yet they eat pretty much the same food they ate before they were on Ozempic. Yet it's me weighing in at 10th grade weight. Yeah, Dave's doing really well. Bruce says his doctor doesn't know what a lean mass hyperresponser is, so he freaked out. So this is a good chance for you to educate him. And if he's not willing to even look into something he should as an MD, maybe you need to shop around.
Says he's working on it. Yeah,
that's good. Keep working on him. Your doctor needs to know, because your doctor's treating other people that are probably lean mass hyperresponders, and he needs to know for sure before he starts, prescribing drugs that don't need to be prescribed, for sure.
There's a good point there before. A lot of people they have health issues like obesity and other things, but they're quite happy to just keep taking drugs and keep eating the same way. It's crazy.
Yeah, no one wants.
I think that also comes down to the fact that the uneducated doctors that are prescribing these things, they're also telling them, well, there's nothing you can do about it. All you have to do is just keep taking these pills.
Yeah.
So that they tend to think that, well, if I can't do anything about it, why change?
Well, and then because it's genetic, they're sold that, but also I think people want the low hanging fruit, and the easy thing seems to be, hey, take a pill, it works, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything. In reality, we do need to change things, right? So Dave Saunier says, I love Laspina's very brief carnivore videos. Just about every morning they pop up first loaded with information. That's fantastic. There's a little for you. Dave's a great guy. You'll meet Dave at KetoCon as well. He'll be there.
Looking forward to meeting you, Dave.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And he's a lean mass hyperresponder. So my personal experience, I can always point to Dave and say, oh, Dave's done that. Dave's done that, and he's a great one. And plus, he really knows his stuff on cholesterol, blood cholesterol, serum cholesterol. He's done a lot of research, and he can definitely answer questions that I know the answers, but I mean, he's done the research, so I kind of trust him.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, Dave's very switched on.
Yeah, he's strong on that stuff, man. Let's see. I'm hearing Ozempic can paralyze the stomach. I'm hearing that it does paralyze the stomach, but it can be more it can lead to permanent paralyzation. But I think that's part of the thing is it does reduce your diet or your hunger by paralyzing your stomach.
Gastroparesis is one of the side effects, and it's not everybody that experiences it, but if you're going on Ozempic or Mounjaro or those other ones, it's a possibility.
It can kill you. People have died. There are people that have died from it.
And we don't know the long-term effects of these what are they called? GLP-1 inhibitors, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
We don't know the long-term effects. So everybody who's on one of these medicines is a guinea pig.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how's that work out? That I'm telling you what, that's ridiculous. That's
and what we're doing is we're doing our own Ozempic. We are eating carnivore. We are getting the same effects by eating properly. They want if they're taking Ozempic and they're eating the standard American diet.
And it's funny because they talk about in all the disclaimers on AI said, not enough studies have been done. But guess what? We have when I'm inspecting houses, I have a business inspecting houses as well as being a wireless architect. We have a saying in the industry that certain houses, like this house is built in the 1950s, we say this house has withstood the test of time,
Oh,
right? So yes, it looks got some cracks, but it's been here 80 years. So this thing's not moving anywhere, right? It has withstood the test of time. It is not burned down. It is not crumbled. So I think that you can look at the carnivore diet and look back at history anthropologically and say
millions.
this is good. Yeah, this has withstood the test of time. You don't need a modern study because, well, actually, you can go back to the 20s or the 1910s when the Bellevue study was done. Was it 1920s or 1910s?
I don't know.
20s and 30s.
20s and
Like the
30s.
Bellevue study was after, like Wilhelm Stephenson
Came
did
back.
that with his partner. Came back from the Arctic Circle after he spent 13 summers and 10 winters in the Arctic Circle studying. But the Bellevue study lasted 12 months, but he himself stuck to a high fat and moderate muscle meat diet, protein diet for over 6 years.
Yeah. And listen,
It's
that
not
is
just
hard
a study.
science. That is hard science too, 'cause they controlled everything he could eat. They controlled his complete diet and his partner's complete diet when they were in there for a 12-month period and did blood tests and did all this. And I think there are 7 studies that were written based on the 7 papers written on that study. So that's hard science. Why would we need to do another study? That's my question to you guys.
And the thing is,
what has changed?
Like that. Yeah, there's nothing done like that on the vegan diet.
No, but why would we need to?
Yeah, that's right. The ketogenic style diet has been studied for over 200 years, well, around the 200-year period, off and on different periods, and have shown, like even the military have shown and proven the benefits in all meat diet. Like the siege of Alexandria with the French soldiers, they got rid of scurvy because going on an all horse meat diet.
Yes.
And from then on, horse meat became very popular to eat in France.
It has to be a fresh meat diet. It can't be dried meat. But listen, people say, well, that's back in the 20s. They weren't scientific. They didn't have a scientific mind. Listen, people, that's when they invented nuclear power. These guys were not dumb. These scientists back then in the 20s,
smarter than the average now.
Yeah, they're the ones that discovered all these vitamins and nutrients in food. That wasn't known until then, right? That there's all these different nutrients. They're the ones that these guys were much smarter. And actually, I looked at my grandfather's yearbook, and I couldn't believe what everyone wrote their prose in there. Like they wrote really impressive prose right out of high school. These people wrote at a level that was exceeding college graduates now. I guarantee you. And I read that. I was like, holy cow, look how these people write, how detailed they're, how their cursive is beautiful. Their prose is beautiful.
Yeah, look at today. Look at
today.
How the internet and now AI and
Twitter
kids aren't required to write.
No,
I'm a retired middle school teacher. I've seen it progressively degrade, and it's sad. Yeah.
I ran a Bible study for high school. And this is probably 10 years ago, maybe longer, even maybe 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. And in the Bible study, I made the mistake of having people read around the circle out loud. And I felt bad immediately because.
How old were they? Adults?
High school
kids.
Yeah. High school kids having problems just reading. And it wasn't, we weren't reading the Bible, we were reading a book. So it was regular English.
That's sad.
I felt they didn't know how to pronounce certain words. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that. And I shouldn't, you know what? It's not on me though. It's on on those kids and their educational system they were in at the time, wherever they were, because every school's different, every teacher's different. I had fantastic.
I was going to say, blame John. He's the teacher.
No, I won't blame John because it wasn't Florida, it was California. And it depends on what city you're in, and there's a whole host of things.
Blame technology and the cell phone, and everything is too easy for these kids. We had to work our butts off when we were younger. At least I did, and now
we had to actually learn how to think.
Yeah, they don't even know how to look up something alphabetically anymore. There's no reason to do it, so they don't even know their alphabet. They're counting on their fingers, A, B, C, D, to find the letter to look it up in a book. because we don't use phone books. We don't use encyclopedias. There's no reason to use the alphabet anymore.
Yeah.
It's no wonder they can't read.
Nate's got a good point there. Like, uni graduates today, and you have the most ridiculous courses now too that are coming out that with gender studies. I mean, how much study do you need to put into gender studies? There's 2 of them. That's it. All right, like you come in Monday morning, say, okay, there's man, there's woman. That's it. Job done.
Maybe that's why they think we need more studies, because they don't understand what a study is. Maybe that's what it is. The definition of study has changed.
Listen to us 3 guys in their 50s talking about the damn young kids today.
But
it's sad, and it's
not so much the kids; it's the academic institutions that are the problem.
That too. Well, like my son, he's a straight A student, always honors and everything, really good. And when he was doing Algebra 1 this year, and he's in the advanced course, the AP courses, and he was having problems with the concepts. So I called his teacher. I was like, hey, I'd like to meet up with you real quick. And this is like 2 months or a month and a half 6 weeks into the beginning of the year. And he's like, sure. So we met up, and I said, listen, Colton's not getting it, and I'm having problems with that because this is foundational to everything he wants to be, an engineer. He needs algebra like his back of his hand. He really needs to know it. He's just not getting it. The teacher's like, I don't understand. He's got straight A's. I'm like, it's not grades. That's not the thing. He can pass the test. He doesn't get it. He needs to. So I basically, and the other thing is they don't send him home with books anymore. So I was like, I understand, he's doing everything online, and that doesn't help me when I'm trying to explain to him. I need a book. And so he's like, okay, we got books. They're just in the back of the room. We don't send them home with kids anymore. Right. I'm like, well, send one home for me, because I need it to teach him. I'm good at math. I was a nuclear guy. I did nuclear engineering. I can do it. But and I think parents need, this is, probably 80% parents' faults, because parents aren't taking an interest in their children's education too. And that, a couple hours of teachers is not going to make up for, a lifetime of parents not doing their job. Right. And that's what I think is going on for most part. That's part of one teacher can't be a parent for 30 kids either. So you get one-on-one time with your kid. You need to make it count. So,
well, again, this is another problem of today's society too, is we don't have that home unit of a teamwork. Either like dad goes to work and mum stays at home and helps look after the kids, or vice versa. I don't give a crap which way you do it, but there's not many homes now that have a parent at home with time to spend with the kids on their education. Usually both parents are working and very busy, so it's the whole thing is a bit off.
Bruce studied the opposite gender when in college. I did too. I did some of that. Dave Saunier said we went to the moon in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, research was on form back then. So that's another thing I point out to my son. He wants to be an engineer. He wants to be an engineer. So I was showing him pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge being built in the 20s and 30s, and I'm like, "Hey, son, they didn't have a computer. They drew everything by hand. They did every calculation with a slide rule. They had no calculators, no phones. They did everything with a slide rule, which I had to do. I had to do slide rules. I was the last class to graduate nuclear power school with slide rules.
We went to the moon on slide rules.
That's right. Yes.
I don't know if you saw that movie about the black woman that was basically, she was called a calculator.
It yet, but I want to.
It's good.
I want to watch. I love math, so I want to watch that. But I can tell you right now, slide rules and using your brain. And the Russians had a technique. They had a word. I forget what it was. It meant writing on a napkin on your leg, and they would do their calculations just like
there you go,
on back paper. And this is a lost art. We don't have that anymore. I probably couldn't do it like I used to. So I don't know. I mean, I took drafting back when we used a drafting table, and we get the lines and we'd have to draw our block letters perfectly in there and everything. That's the way it was when I took drafting.
Now, an iPhone now has, like an iPhone has more computing power now than like a 60s rocket ship did.
Oh yeah. But when the lunar module landed on the moon, it had 4K of RAM. Okay.
Yeah.
I had 8K of RAM. Because I remember I upgraded my PC. I had an Atari 400. And I upgraded it from 4K to 8K, and I thought, man, I could land on the moon with this thing. I really, and it was 81 or 82. I was like, oh my gosh, I could literally land on the moon with this computer. That's back then, right?
Right.
Couldn't even make a song with that much memory anymore. I mean, so let's see. We're way off. Sorry, guys. Any more carnivore stuff you guys want to talk about?
So I said 3 guys in their 50s, and look at what
we got on here. The
Those
carnivore
damn kids
cure.
today.
right.
Carnivore Cure's here. I guess I didn't see him up here, but Carnivore Cure, welcome and good health to you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Carnivore Cure. Yeah. Let's see. I need to get him on. Here he is. Yes. Hey, DC. Thank you, Aid. There you go. What's up, brother? We need to get an interview with you. I know we talked about it over emails. Let's cement that thing, get it going, buddy. I want to get you a story on my channel. Yeah, he's a really great
story too.
And he has such a good story. I mean, the whole gambling addiction and all that stuff that changed his life, not just weight. You know, it's life changing for me. It's life changing for guys like him. Life changing for everyone, really. It
really is. Yeah,
it's hard to.
Todd, he's a good speaker too. He likes to talk. So he's always got a good story to tell.
You know what? That's my grandpa. He's a good storyteller. My grandpa used to say he's a good storyteller. He can tell us, hey, being a good storyteller, man, that's huge. That's a huge skill. You know, any marketing guy, any sales guy is gonna be a good stories person. Any CEO is gonna be a good storyteller. That's what they do, right? Any politician, good storyteller, typically. I mean, that's what they do. So,
well,
you know,
yeah. I mean, they got the gift of the gab. We'll say,
yeah.
I wouldn't say they're.
Doesn't mean they're using it for good. It means they're good at doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, because you can look at like even our carnivore doctors; those guys are good storytellers, man. They are the ones we're the ones
Anthony Chafee tells.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sean Baker. These guys are just Dr. Kiltz. They're great storytellers. They tell a story, man, a narrative. Well, guys, it's been an hour. I think we should wrap it up. Let's talk about what's going on. That was a quick hour. Let's talk about what's going on our channels. Why don't you start off, DC? Anything new going on? For you?
Yeah.
Oh, Friday.
Yeah,
right?
I've got some. Yeah, I've got a few things coming on. Actually, I just had a great interview with Dr. Sarah Pugh. I think people should really check that out. She is an absolute wealth of knowledge. Absolutely brilliant lady. So and really nice to talk to, actually. But when it comes to like mechanisms of the body, like I think she's second to none. She's absolutely genius. She talks about light and climate and with weight, different areas where people live, and it's going to affect the way they eat and things like that. She's like a high-fat ketovore sort of diet herself. She's into so many things. She's a quantum biologist, a biochemist.
Right.
She's into ketogenic nutrition and Pilates and all sorts of things. She's amazing. And next week I have an interview with Dr. Robert Lufkin.
Oh yeah, you do. I saw that.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, always I'll have people telling their stories as well. And I've got a lot to catch up on myself. Actually, some of the some other videos that I need to get done myself. So there's a lot, quite a bit going on actually. I'm just having trouble sort of catching up with everything, but we'll get there.
What about you, John?
I'm looking forward to meeting you and other people at Hack Your Health Keto
Coming fast.
The end of next month. I'm in the middle of reading Sally K. Norton's book, Toxic Superfoods, it's a really thick book, but man, you can't put it down. She has lots of charts and graphs, and I don't eat the fruits and vegetables, but I did most of my life. I'm learning so much about how these oxalates move in the body and store and how toxic they are. And it's just, I've learned so much. I didn't know so many things. So, and I'm making videos. I'm trying to put one out a day still. Now I'm up to just doing the new ones because the older ones are starting to, I can't use them. The ones that got deleted because they're just too old.
Yeah.
And
so you're redoing them? Are you redoing them?
I haven't redone them. I'm just watching them, thinking I'm gonna post this, and then I get to a point I'm like, I don't want to use this. I don't talk that way anymore. I was more of a ketovore and keto back then, so I'm saying things that I don't believe in anymore because I evolved a little bit. I'm very much all carnivore now, and I don't want to put some of those messages out. So I'm still going through some of them. A lot of the ones that are coming out for probably the next week or two are the older ones,
Right.
except Monday and Friday, and then I'm putting out new ones after that.
So it looks like Carnivore Cure is going to be at Hack Your Health, right?
Good.
We'll be there, man. That'll be fun. We'll meet up for sure. I got a lot of people to meet there. I mean, a lot, but it's going to be worth it. And I'm sure I'll get FaceTime with everybody that I want to there. I will be on Nia's Way tomorrow. We're talking about stalling, weight loss, and healing, because stalling can be a lot of different things, and how you get past it. And just for your information, I have started Lion Diet again today, because last time I did a Lion Diet, I was in a stall of weight loss, but I wasn't doing any exercise other than walking, really. And this time I'm hitting the gym regular, and I want to see what kind of performance gains I get doing Lion, which I think I'm anticipating some good results. Leaning out more, getting my strength is still going up. My strength's still great, but it's going up. And so I'll be on Nia's Way tomorrow for the.
Are you doing 1 or 2 meals a day, Larry?
I'm just eating when I'm hungry. So it's it's 2 to 3 actually, because
I
am lifting pretty heavy. So
all right.
It's 2 to 3. Right now I had like burger patties, and then I had ground beef. So
all right. Just curious. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now it's 2, but I think it'll be 2 to 3, because some days I'll be more hungry than others, especially if I lifted that day and did heavy stuff.
The body wants more. Yeah.
Yep. So stalling on Carnivore is the mastermind tomorrow on Nia's Way. If you haven't checked it out, please swing by and check out Nia's channel. It's fantastic. I'll be on there. And don't just check it out because me, but a lot of people will be on there. And then Friday, I may be on DC's. I'm going to try to make your live stream, DC.
Oh, that'd be good.
It's evening my time, but I have my son, so I don't know if I have. I'll have to find out tomorrow what my schedule Friday is. I got to find out what we're doing with him. Yeah. But if I'm around, I will be on for sure. Who else is going to be on Friday, DC?
There'll be Rick, the 40-year Carnivore, and anyone who wants to join. Really, it's kind of an open mic night. So, John, if you want to join us,
what time is it on Friday, or is it like 8 o'clock?
Florida. You're in Florida, yeah. So I think 7 p.m.
Same thing as Rick. So all right, 7 p.m. Friday.
Yep.
All right.
Nice. All right. Well, I think that's all we got. I'm going to drop you guys that. If you stick around for a minute, we'll say goodbye after a few. All right, guys, that was a fantastic show. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening in after the fact. If you have any comments below or anything we left out for effects you can get from the carnivore diet, please add your comments down below. And if you're going to be at Hack Your Health, post down there. Let me know so we can meet up. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Stay strong and overcome. Carnivore Soldier out.